And this week we have microphones.
Upgrade.
Exciting! Hi, welcome back to Watch Along Pod.
Where this week we have watched Dumbo.
Is everybody ready?
So, Daisy, what were your thoughts about Dumbo before we watched it? I'm all ears.
So funny. I don't know. I guess because it's, again, classic. Everybody knows or has heard of Dumbo. I don't think I really had many thoughts on it, other than, Dumbo's cute. You know, you see, like, the flying Dumbos at Disney, and you think, oh, it's cute, and everything like that. And I knew that it was quite a sad movie, but I hadn't watched it in a very long time. So I was, like, going into it thinking, it'll be fun to watch, because I've not seen it in so long. I can't really remember all, like, the little bits. I remember the base storyline, and that was it. But yeah, that was sort of my thoughts before the film. What about you?
So this is a film that I used to watch a lot when I was a kid, again. But like Pinocchio, I didn't remember an awful lot. I could remember key scenes that are ingrained in my memory. Traumatic. It's a good film. I had a positive feeling towards it.
To be honest, I think anything was going to beat Fantasia.
Yeah.
Whatever came next was going to be like, it was brilliant.
It didn't set the bar very high for the follow-on. So.
This actually recouped nearly all the money that Disney had lost on Pinocchio and Fantasia.
It did. It was actually designed to be low production cost, so they could reap back some of their money from the failings of the past two films.
I didn't feel like it felt low production cost when watching it.
Oh, I did.
Really?
Yeah, but there was a bit of animation where one of the elephant's eyes got irises and then they disappeared and then they came back. So there was some shoddy animation, and there was also a part that should have had sound effects but didn't. When Timothy's eating a peanut. I think it's when you're first introduced to him.
Oh, right.
And there should be some kind of shell cracking sound, but there was nothing.
Yeah, in those, I guess I meant in terms of the quality of the drawing and things like that. I didn't feel that, it was less beautiful. Obviously, there were probably a few more mistakes and errors because they didn't spend the time really going over the fine details, like in Pinocchio with the clocks and everything. But I didn't think that it was like, it didn't feel that it didn't have love when it was made.
I 100% get what you mean. And there were some scenes where they had a lot of detail.
Yeah.
They were really eye-catching, and there was a lot to take in. So it's not like they skimped on the details. They maybe just cut a few corners here and there.
Yeah, they just to, get it out quickly and recoup that money, probably.
And it worked.
It did work. Now, this film, for those who don't know, came out in 1941. So the year after Fantasia.
Yes, and it was the last film to release, the last animated Disney film to release before the USA entered World War II. Mm-hmm. If you're just tuning in, this is the History Channel. I don't think we haven't talked about World War II at all in any of these videos. World War II has come up every single time.
I think that's because it is. These films are so on the cusp of all of that it does sort of play a part into thinking about what was happening when they were made and the background of what was happening in the world at the time. I think that does have a lot of relevance.
Yeah.
I have something I think you're going to like.
Oh, tell me.
Foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing. We love foreshadowing. Watch Along Pod.
But not foreshadowing for the next movie.
Okay.
So, as I was watching, and they did the shot of the map, what was the biggest thing that you saw on that map? Florida, where Walt Disney World would end up. And I did think, was that in his head? I know California came first, don't come at me in the comments. But I was like, maybe that was a bit of pre-thinking on Walt's part, like, that's where the big one's going to be. That's where the mega park's going to be.
And do you know there aren't actually many classic Disney films that take place in the USA?
Yeah, I know. Well, I guess because a lot of them are based on fairy tales, which the origins of them usually aren't in the USA, so...
So there's some pretty dark themes in Dumbo.
Honestly, when I was watching it, I thought, this is so dark. I was like, you think of... every time I used to think about Dumbo, I'd think, it's about an elephant that can fly, blah, 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 blah.
He's adorable.
It's so sad when you watch it as an adult. I was like, my heart is hurting. I almost turned it off in the first sort of 20 minutes because I was like, this is too sad. I can't do it. Genuinely, I was like, I can't watch it.
Yeah, it's difficult to watch in places for different reasons as well. It's not just like there's one difficult thing throughout.
So many.
It touches on a lot.
Yeah.
The relationship between mother and child,
the
separation.
The bit that really got me at first was the opening where the storks come on and giving everybody babies, and there's Mama and she's like desperate for her baby and she's looking and I thought that can really resonate to maybe women who have struggled to have children or get pregnant and different things like that. And I really I was like, this is too emotional. I can't. The sadness in that elephant's eyes, I felt it. I felt all of it.
And that's in the first 5 minutes of the film.
Yeah. I was like, this is too sad. So, let's talk about the characters.
Yes. And who better to start with but our main character, Jumbo Jr.
This little guy.
There he is.
Super cute.
I think it's really sad that everybody calls him Dumbo. Even outside of the film, I understand that the film is named Dumbo because he gets that nickname by the horrible elephants. But everyone calls him Dumbo.
I know. Even like
we're
Timothy,
bullying him.
like even the people that are meant to like him call him Dumbo, and I'm like, it's sort of a horrible nickname. Like, I used to think it was sweet, but now I sort of think about it, I'm like, oh, it's not. It's really not.
Yeah,
I'm going to start a petition. Let's call him by his real name. Let's rename the Dumbos at Disney World to Jumbo Juniors.
The Jumbo Juniors.
Yeah.
Doesn't roll off the tongue as much, does it?
It doesn't, but I would be feeling better about it.
Yeah. So, Dumbo... I've just done it again.
He is Dumbo. We have to just succumb to it.
Okay. Well, Jumbo Jr., I'm very sorry. But for the ease of our viewers... Dumbo. He is the only non-speaking lead character in a Disney film at all.
No, he doesn't make any noises, does he? So
no, he hiccups. We had Gideon, but he's not the lead.
Weird thing about Dumbo hiccuping. I watched that scene and then I could not stop hiccuping.
Contagious.
Literally, I was like, what is going on?
Did you check?
Yeah. He's a very sweet character.
He is, but there's not really much to him. He's cute. And
he's a baby.
Well, yeah.
So there's, give him his due. He doesn't, he's not had much life experience to have any character yet.
Previously, we had Pinocchio, who was technically a baby.
Yep.
And it went in the opposite direction. He kind of had too much character and it got him into too much trouble.
Yeah.
Now we've gone the other way. We've got a baby who
innocent.
is so innocent. And none of the trouble that Dumbo gets into is because of his own doing.
No, none of it's his fault. And it's too sad. I feel for him. At least he has a happy ending. If it had not ended as a happy film, that would have been it. I would have been writing.
Yeah.
But somebody I do love is Mummy, Jumbo.
Mrs. Jumbo.
She is the best mummy. She loves him as soon as he's there, and she loves him unconditionally. And she is those sisters or whoever they're meant to be to her, the other elephants. She's like, get out my face. I love my baby.
When they're insulting Dumbo, she gives them a slap.
I know, I loved it when she took the like hook out of the thing and was like, BAM!
Yeah. We love Mrs. Jumbo.
Yeah.
There was one scene with Mrs. Jumbo, and then it goes from her in prison.
Yeah.
In prison. Prison?
Well, it is the mad, they say it's a mad elephant, don't they?
Yeah. But it goes to her imprisoned, shackled and chained, and the shot is her rocking backwards and forwards like this. Really sad. And you can see the light and effect is coming in through the bars and projecting onto her, the stripes of the bars.
Right, yeah.
And then as it transitions to Dumbo, he's all alone in the circus tent, swaying in the same way, looking sad. And the stripes of the bars of the prison are then replaced with the stripes of the circus tent.
Right.
And I just found it so visually...
That they're both in prison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very clever.
Just different prisons. The mean elephants.
Ugh.
They are the worst. Honestly, I wanted to slap them.
Mrs. Jumbo did.
Well, yeah, good for her.
They deserved it.
They were so up themselves. Like, they were so mean and up themselves and like, well, we're elephants and we have to be like this. And, you know, I was like, ugh, you know.
It was really cliquey. But it made me question what their relationship was like with Mrs. Jumbo before Dumbo came along. Because if that was your friend, you would welcome their child. You wouldn't mock to that extent. I interpreted their attitudes towards Mrs. Jumbo and Dumbo as them being childless.
Yes.
None of them appear to have any children. And unfortunately, it is quite a fact that when you have a children, a lot of your friends will just drop you. And it happens, and you kind of just have to accept it and let go of that.
I did want to mention a little cameo that really made me chuckle.
Okay, I didn't spot anyone.
So, no, not of a known character. It was just a random character in the film, and it was just something that happened that just made me giggle.
Okay.
And it was when they arrived at the town and they were doing the circus parade through the town, and all the animals were like there, and some were like, yeah, we'll do what we need to do to make them, you know, get excited. And it was the monkey on the bars being like, Rah! And then he broke one and was like, oh, whoops, put it back. And I was like, I really laughed. I don't know why it made me laugh so much, but I was like, that is so silly.
Oh, that scene is the first glimpse we get of the clowns. Oh my god, they set them up to be horrendous.
Are you scared of clowns?
I'm not scared of clowns,
okay.
Normally, but I hate the clowns in this film.
Let's talk about one of the characters we haven't spoken about yet.
Timothy Q. Mouse.
He's cute, isn't he?
Yeah, I like Timothy. He is a little bit more like just another Jiminy Cricket.
But I feel like he's a better Jiminy Cricket.
He is a better Jiminy Cricket. He's the best hype man anyone could ever ask for.
Absolutely.
He spends the entire film bigging up Dumbo.
Yeah.
Encouraging Dumbo.
He sees that Dumbo is being bullied, and he's like, absolutely not. And I love that it's a mouse, because obviously there's that trope that elephants are scared of mice and all of that kind of thing.
Which they do play on.
Which they do play on. And I just think that it's just a lovely, unexpected friendship that forms, and I like that.
Yeah. Did you know his encouragement of Dumbo? He becomes his manager at the end.
Yeah, I
love
that.
It's great. Yeah, we see the newspaper clippings
Yeah.
at the end.
Yeah, I like
it's
that.
really, really nice.
Yeah, he's a good cat. He's one of the best characters in it, I think, in terms of he's got a good heart. He doesn't want anything bad to happen to Dumbo, and you know he's there for the right reasons. There's a lot. There's not loads of songs in this, but there's more songs in this than I think some of the others.
I think for the length of the film, it has the right amount of songs.
Yeah, definitely. I have to admit, I did not realise that Casey Jr. came from Dumbo.
Didn't you?
No!
What, until now?
Until now. I don't know why I didn't realise that.
So where did you know Casey Jr. from?
I know the ride at Disney.
And that's it?
That's it!
Oh, wow. So
I must have, at some point I must have known, because I have watched Dumbo before, and I remember seeing that scene, but I don't think I thought it was in Dumbo. I think I thought it was something else. I think I thought it maybe was like part of a short or something about a train called Casey Jr. And then watching it and thinking about it, I thought, oh yeah, because all the carts in the ride are animal cages. That makes a lot more sense. And I was and literally they use the exact soundtrack from the film for that ride.
and you didn't put two and two together?
Well, as I said, I haven't watched Dumbo since I was very little. And I just don't think, like, my dad's going to watch this and he's going to call me immediately and be like, you're not my child anymore.
You need to have words.
Oh, but yeah, so that's a good song. I do like Casey Jr., but
Yeah, my goddaughter Willow, hi Willow, when she was a lot younger, like much younger, she had a thing for the Casey Jr. scene.
oh yeah,
I remember her parents having to rewatch that, making comments. Yeah, Casey Jr. again.
I think again.
Yeah, you know that's a reference.
From what?
There's a story called The Little Engine That Could.
Right, I think this is where I get confused. I think that's what I've got mixed up in my head. The one that I know is Nick's absolute favourite, Pink Elephants on Parade.
Pink Elephants on Parade is the reason I didn't want to rewatch this film.
I could not remember this scene very well. And when I watched it, I was like, this is trippy.
Yeah, it's so different from the rest of the film. It doesn't fit in.
I feel like it was the people of who did Fantasia thought, let's put a Fantasia scene in there.
Yeah, oh, that was really successful last time. Let's do that again. But yeah, it's just the stuff of nightmares.
It is. It's when they had loads of elephant faces making up something.
The big mecha elephant.
I was like, oh, go away.
I was watching it this time and I was thinking, this is so weird. It almost feels like it should be Tim Burton.
Yeah.
And then I thought, Tim Burton directed the live action.
He did, yeah.
So it was certainly something else. But seeing pink elephants is an old euphemism for being drunk.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
And now you know.
Now I know. Fact fans?
Fact fans. That's stuck with me years. I'm 38 now. And it still bothers me.
And he's still scared of the pink elephants.
I'm still scared. It became a trend to use that sound on TikTok a little while ago, yeah. And my kid finds it hilarious. That I was like, turn that off! No, I hate it! That one song. Baby Mine.
I can't even talk about it. That whole scene literally breaks my heart. I was actually sobbing because it was just like, but she can't even really see Dumbo. She just has to stick her trunk out and she's rocking him and he's like snuggled up to, it is it's a heartbreaker, that moment.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not exactly the toughest cookie in the box. I'm a bit of a softie, so that got to me. It really did. It's just really moving. It's really sad. I didn't like it.
No, I was. My heart was just too broken by the whole of it. Like,
I think Disney films are really strengthened by their sad scenes.
Yeah.
But this just went, for me, too far.
Yeah, I think you're right. Disney films, those sad moments really stay with you because you really love the characters that usually are involved in those scenes, and I think they work because usually they're based in things that do happen and they're based in reality. I mean, obviously a flying elephant, not reality, but in the terms of sometimes parents are separated from children. Sometimes, there is trauma and awful things that happen, and I think that everybody can relate to it, even though it's an elephant portraying those things. Can we talk about Mr. Stork and the song?
Yes, I love that song.
Me too. And I wish that it was as easy as that song is.
I think it would have its own problems. It would have difficulties.
What, do you think the stork would get the babies wrong?
Well, the Amazon delivery guy sometimes drops my package at the wrong house.
Yeah, but I feel like I'd trust a stork more than an Amazon delivery man. Definitely more than an every delivery man.
Oh. Yeah, we don't know where your baby is.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, it's in a warehouse somewhere.
We've returned it to sender. No, I did like it, and how they delivered delivered all the babies, and I liked how they sort of did try to depict, obviously, the tiger had a couple of cubs because that would be what the litter was, and all of those things. I thought that was quite cute.
Yeah.
And the giraffes. Giraffes are my favourite animals. I was like,
oh, I didn't realise they were your favourite animal.
You're saying that.
There's a giant giraffe over there.
At a giant giraffe off camera.
I just thought you had a giant giraffe for no reason.
Well, let's talk about the most famous, probably, song in it.
When I See an Elephant Fly.
Yeah.
It's really cleverly written because every line is a play on words.
Oh yeah, brilliant. Such a clever song, and undoubtedly is probably the most famous from the film.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's one of the most memorable scenes, and it's really catchy. Sticks with you after. I was humming it. Humming it for like a day and a half.
I guess it comes right at the end of the film as well, so it sort of sticks with you quite a lot as well.
Yep, it is right at the end of the film, and it happens before we see Dumbo even fly for the first time. There's only 5 minutes of the film left when we see Dumbo fly for the first time.
I genuinely thought there was more flying in it.
I thought it was a massive part of the film. I know it is the climax. It's
a bit like Pinocchio's nose.
Exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I remember it being a huge part of the film, and it's barely in it.
Right at the end.
Right at the end. So I think we can't really skim over a sensitive topic when we talk about this song.
Yep.
So can we talk about the crows?
Yes, it does need to be discussed. Because obviously at the beginning of the film there is a censorship warning about depictions of different cultures and, things that would be maybe not okay in this day and age and different things like that. So the crows have been a big topic of discussion for many years about that, because they are quite obviously depicting African American people.
Yeah.
And I believe at least 2 or 3 of them are actually voiced by African American voice actors.
I believe they all are, and even the live action references were all African American actors. So although they do perpetuate a negative stereotype, I think they were really close to actually getting the characters and the treatment right. And that may be because I'm not of that culture, so I do apologise if I'm missing a point. And
I think from our perspective, it doesn't come across as necessarily a hugely negative depiction of African American people, because they actually, I think personally in the film, the Crows are one of the nicest characters to Dumbo.
Yeah, they're some of the few characters who are friendly towards Dumbo in the entire film.
They actually listen to him and they encourage him and they accept him for who he is.
Yes.
So I don't think that it was negative in the way of degrading, but I do understand that there are negative connotations and stereotypes within that are sensitive.
Yeah, it wasn't like an oblique, these are the black coded characters and they are negative characters. They were positive characters.
Yeah. Unlike the circus workers who had no face.
That leads me,
literally were dehumanized to such an extent that, you know, it was that is pretty horrific depiction.
Yeah.
Within this film at the beginning.
So I think that helps us transition into the next thing I wanted to discuss, and it's the Roustabout song. My jaw was wide open. I couldn't believe what I was watching. I didn't remember that at all from the original.
No, me either.
And as a child, it wouldn't have meant anything anyway. I wouldn't have picked up on
the lyrics. You just don't,
anything. Yeah. But my word, as you say, they were faceless. It kind of dehumanised them. Do you know what the word roustabout means?
No, I don't think I do.
So it's not really offensive. It just means like an unskilled worker.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But the fact that all of the unskilled workers presented are all people of colour was awful.
I think it's just a really poor depiction, and I think what makes it so bad is the fact that they don't give them faces, because I think that really dehumanises, because there would have been real people behind all of those. Obviously this isn't a true story, but behind those kind of people that would have had to work in those environments would have been real human beings with stories to tell and thoughts and feelings, and I think personally, when I saw that part of, they're the only characters that have no faces, and I find that really dehumanising of them.
The animals are more humanised in this film.
They're given more emotions and more feelings than those characters, and I think that is a much worse depiction than the Crows sort of represent. But as you said, neither of us, we're both white, so we haven't had to experience that ourselves. So, you know, it is a sensitive topic to talk about, and we don't want to upset or offend anybody. So please, if there's any comments that you guys want to make, or, you know, anything that you feel maybe you can educate us on, anything to do with that, of how you've experienced things or how you feel about this film, you know, we'd love to hear that.
Yeah, it's definitely a topic for discussion, and I think that there is a lot that people can learn from others, so through sharing experience.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, please do let us know if you have anything constructive to say. So I touched on it earlier. I need to talk about the clowns. The clowns in this film are scary.
Yeah.
They're weird.
Dumbo a clown.
They do. But they're horrible.
They're horrible.
They're horrible.
They're
so
not nice.
There's the one scene where they're doing their routine and they have a mock building with Dumbo at the top of it, and it's on fire. Like, not pretend effects, it's really on fire. And they're fumbling around and they're supposed to be saving Dumbo because they're the firemen. And I was horrified by that as a child because it was a really mature thought to have at such a young age. But I was just like, these guys are totally incapable of saving Dumbo. Dumbo's in real peril right now.
No.
And then after that is a huge success for some reason, that routine. They come up with a plan on how to get a pay rise out of the ringmaster. And it's to make the tower taller, put Dumbo at the top of it and push him off. That's horrible.
I know, they don't seem like very nice people.
No.
But can we just talk about the scene where they're undressing?
Oh, that's really clever. I always like a film where there's a silhouette in a tent of someone undressing, like Austin Powers.
But it was the witness of like the really big one, like undid a valve and it all just like when it then I was like, what is going on? There's so much happening. I think if you watched that little bit of a scene over and over, you'd see different little things because obviously there's a couple on the screen at the same time. But
having characters like that allows window for more surreal and wacky comedy or slapstick.
Yeah.
So I see the purpose of the clowns. There was a real world connection that I made watching Dumbo. There was one scene where a load of kids come into the circus tent and they meet Dumbo and they just harass him. But when all those kids came into the tent and they were harassing Dumbo and hurting him, it reminded me of Moo Deng. Do you know about Moo Deng?
No. So
this is current. This is like right now. There's a baby hippo called Moo Deng in a zoo in Thailand.
Oh, this is a real hippo.
This is a real thing.
Okay.
So the zoo has recently had to put signs up telling people not to harass Moo Deng because it's been hurting. Like when you see a photograph of Moo Deng, put one on screen for the viewers, the most adorable baby animal I think I've ever seen.
Why are people harassing it?
Because it's asleep, so they're like, wake up, we want you to do stuff, throwing stuff at it. And they've had to put signs up to tell people to stop doing that. So what we're saying is we want Moo Deng. Send her to the UK, we'll look after her.
We'll have her. We'll look after her.
She can live at my house.
Might get a bit big.
Yeah, she'll probably push me out the bed.
Yeah.
The time is upon us
for the rankings.
Woo!
Shall we remind our viewers?
Yes, let's.
So, our last film, Fantasia, was at number
88. It's second from last place in our rankings.
Hyacinth there. So, what are we thinking for Dumbo?
Did you enjoy Dumbo more or less than the next highest rated film on our list, which was Snow White?
Yes and no. I wouldn't want to watch it again because it's too sad. But I do think it is a great film at the same time. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
It's so sad. So it's not one I'm ever going to sort of probably put on again because it just hurts my heart too much.
So the way that I think we should look at this, because I feel the same way as you, is which film had a bigger impact on me and was more meaningful as a piece of cinema. And
Dumbo would be higher then.
Dumbo definitely was, in my opinion.
I still don't think it's going to be up the top.
No.
Because I think that we've got a lot of films coming in the 90s that we're going to fight over. So.
80s and 90s babies, like that's where the magic is going to happen.
You're going to see a lot of arguments, all right? So what are we thinking then? If Snow White is at 50.
So with Snow White at 50, I think Dumbo should go in at around 40.
Think 40?
Yeah, these are going to move around as we go along, no doubt. But I think
What about 41?
41.
Because I've already got this balled out.
Peak laziness there. Sure, why not? It's still the highest on the list for now.
This is our little Dumbo one. Let's stick him there at 41.
There you go. Cheers, big ears.
So, next week we're watching
Bambi. Spoilers, it rains again in that film. You know what that means?
Do you know what? I'm not sure I've ever watched Bambi all the way through.
Did it get turned off before that scene?
Well, that seems right at the beginning.
You didn't see much of the film.
I've watched bits and pieces of it, but I can't ever remember watching it all the way through. Like, I don't even really remember the story other than the thing that everybody remembers, the first scene.
No, I don't.
I can't remember what happens whatsoever.
No.
Well, it'll be a fun week next week.
It'll be new.
I think
So, did you agree with our rankings? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, follow and subscribe if you are enjoying the Watch Along pod.
And remember,
You're never
too old to be young.
Toodles.
Bye!
Is everybody ready?